Evening all, welcome to my review of Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, the movie, by Newt Scamander, courtesy of J.K. Rowling. So I've just seen the film and it is brilliant. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Wasn't quite sure when I watched the trailer how much I was going to like it. I'm a huge Harry Potter fan. Wasn't quite sure from the trailer whether it was going to be great or not. It is exquisitely good. I'd go as far to say it's possibly the best film of the, shall we say, in the Harry Potter world since The Prisoner of Azkaban. The Prisoner of Azkaban is one of the better Harry Potter books. It's probably the classic Harry Potter book, The Prisoner of Azkaban. It's one of the greatest kids' books, for want of a better word, and the greatest books I think ever wrote. And this has got something of that. There's something about this that is up there. This woman is casting spells upon us that are as good as they're as good as The Hobbit, of Lord of the Rings, Peter Pan, The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, any of those classic, Aladdin and the 40 Thieves, The Arabian Nights, any of those classic tales of flying carpets and magical princesses and fairy tale castles. This woman is casting those spells upon us right now, and we're lucky to be alive during the time of it. It really is a privilege. I remember reading the books not so long ago. It seems not so long ago, the Harry Potter books, and it's just like they're like comfort reading. It's like putting on a pair of slippers, having had a shower, a good meal, sitting there with a cup of cocoa by the fire, reading it. It's almost like reading a Harry Potter book is like that. At least the earlier ones are. And this is just as good. As I've said, in fact, I'm on the images here. All I've done is Googled Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, and I'm looking at the images just to give you something to look at while I talk about the film. Let's have a look at the cast here. Eddie Redmayne as Newt Scamander is fabulous. He's obviously Eddie's really good actor. He's very talented. He was very good as who's the guy, Professor Stephen Hawking. He was great as Stephen Hawking. Did he get an Oscar for that? He should have done. He was very good. He's great in this. He's a great Newt Scamander, and he's very much. We do a few things in this country very well, and eccentrics is one of them, and he's a typical English eccentric, and he's excellent. The lead is excellent. Catherine Waterston, she's great. She's kind of Newt's, it would be churlish to say she's the love interest. There's a little bit of that in there, but she's his partner in crime. I won't give away the plot, anything like that. Obviously it goes without saying I'm giving it a full 10 out of 10. I'll give it 100% out of 100, and you watch this on the big screen, all the magic that you'd expect from something like Peter Pan or Lord of the Rings or the Harry Potter films, that is there with this in spades. Okay, you don't miss it. It's excellent. Let's go through here. Colin Farrell is very good. I've got issues with Colin Farrell from time to time. I'm moving the camera around here like a lunatic. Just bear with me. He's great in this. He as the was the sort of, let's say, the bad guy, and I've said it. I won't put any more spoilers out. I wouldn't do that. He's great in here. I think his career was going great guns, and he's great in some things, Colin Farrell, when he plays to his strengths, and he was perhaps too young to play Alexander, and he got murdered by the critics, including me, for that. In many places, Alexander was a good film. Angelina Jolie was great, but Colin Farrell just couldn't pull off Alexander the Great, unfortunately. A bit too young, perhaps. I get the feeling that now he could perhaps do it. He's got Colin brings some real acting chops to this, to his role in this, and he's great. He pulls it off. It's very, very well done. And this is set in Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them is set in New York. Let's go back to the main stage, the main thing here. The Harry Potter books were set in London. This is set in New York, and they back in the 1920s, and they use New York as a backdrop, just like London is done in the Harry Potter books, and it's superb. It's an homage to the New York we all grew up seeing on television. I mean, we've been blessed, the English-speaking peoples of the earth, for the last 200 or 300 years. The capital of the world has been London, then it's been New York. Where it will be this century, who knows? Who knows? Is it still New York and London? But that will change. But for now, New York, the last century could call itself the not just the Empire State city, but really the world city. The Twin Towers, the world, and there's a reference to that in here as well, and about magic and positivity and daring to dream. It's a beautiful film. Some of it's the pieces that are set in Times Square are really, really good. And Lord of the Rings won Best Film for and deservedly so. And I think it was one of the first times, if not the first time, a fantasy film won Best Film. I wonder if this will be up for Best Film as well. It deserves to be nominated. It's very, very, very good. There's something really, really... They've just done everything right. They've done everything right. Every little set piece is well done. It never slips into parody in New York. It's so easy to parody New York, God Lord, I've never been to the wretched place. And, I've seen so many films about it and so many films set there, and it never slips into parody of New York. It's a loving homage to New York, just as the Harry Potter films were to London. And they leave it open at the end of this film for more films. They're talking about 5 in this series, and I hope there are 5 in this series. J.K. Rowling has said that she'll never write another Harry Potter book per se. I'm reading one at the moment. Which is the one I'm reading at the moment? That's the one with her kids, with Harry Potter's kids in it, and that's very good. But she said she'd never write them where Harry Potter and Hermione and Ron were the stars again. She'd revisit that world, and she has. This is set before the time of Harry Potter. If you're a Harry Potter aficionado, you'll remember that during lessons that they very often would be opening Newt Scamander's Fantastic Beasts book, and there's references to this in here, and it's full of magic and wonder. J.K. is not, she doesn't exist in a vacuum. All of her ideas come from classical mythology and classical magic. If you know anything about the occult, it's not sinister. It's more people that sort of classical witches and wizards. People are still trying to do that shit today. They really are. And she draws heavily on all of that. That's possibly why Christians are deep set against it. And it's not sinister. It's saying that there is beauty and magic and grace in the world. And sometimes life isn't. It's not black and white and mathematical, and scientists don't know it all. There's real magic and wonder in the world, and she brings it back with her books. And I don't mean to offend anybody when I mention the occult. I've read a lot of that, and let's leave it at that. But suffice to say, that world isn't sinister. I mean, is Hogwarts sinister when they practice magic? And the occult and magic is very much like that. But I digress. We're talking about Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, and there's a great picture there of Newt coming over a suit. He keeps his magical creatures in this magical little world in the suitcase, and you can walk down the suitcase like you can walk into the suitcase. It's like a TARDIS, And at times, you can definitely tell that this guy's watched Doctor Who. In a way, his performance is it's kind of straight the retreads of Doctor Who. It's straight Doctor Who. He is that kind of guy with magical powers that is re-enchanting the world, you know. And it's very, very lovely to see. It's brand new, as in a lot of, even though the themes are, it's J.K. Rowling, and it's set in the same world as Harry Potter, but because of it being in America 100 years ago, there's a freshness and a newness about it as well. And it's a beautiful piece of work. I thoroughly recommend it. Let's go back to the cast here, because the cast is really, really good. That guy there, Ezra Miller, is great. Dan Fogler, he's really, really great. He plays the kind of the comic relief, but he's really, really good in it. He really is. Fine Frezzi, she's great. Samantha Morton is great. John Voight has a small parody in it. He's good. Carmen Ejojo, she's okay. Don't exactly remember. Oh yeah, now I know what she played. She's great. Yeah, good character, good parts played by those people. Zoe Kravitz, now she looks like she could be Lenny's daughter. She's really, really good. And there's a nice little cameo at the end by Johnny Depp, right at the very last scene. There's Johnny Depp of all people there. So it's got a really good cast. It's really, really well. It's really well acted. Let's see here. What have we got here? Rotten Tomatoes 90%. IMDb 8.10. Metacritic 72. Yeah, I'm much closer to Rotten Tomatoes. Now, Rotten Tomatoes do not give people 90% very often, let me tell you. And I go with them. I definitely do. Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. IMDb 41,680 votes. Give it a 8 out of 10. I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. If not, in fact, I'm giving it a 10 out of 10. Bugger it. That's how I feel, you know. Possibly, I mean, I love J.K. Rowling. I remember being on the train. I remember getting the books the day they were released. You know, the bookshop's opening at midnight, and I remember being on the train reading one, and every person around me was reading the same thing on that day because it had been released, and we were all sharing something, and they were great. And the Harry Potter books were great big slabs of books, 700 or 800 pages long, and just beautiful, beautiful books. And I actually feel sorry for people that haven't read them or can't read them. Like some people will read 20 pages of The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings and just they can't stomach it. Well, it's not for them, and that's okay, but really you kind of got to feel sorry for them to not lose yourself in such a beautiful world or be unable to be enchanted by such a beautiful world. I feel sorry for you. I genuinely pity, as Mr. T would say, I pity the fool that cannot be enchanted by such things. Let's end my review there. Otherwise, I'm going to be accidentally giving away spoilers. There's nothing else to say. It's excellent. It's really, really well done. I thoroughly recommend it. Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Get yourself to a cinema, Willy Heads, and track down a copy very, very soon. Get yourself to a cinema and watch it really soon. It's excellent. Christmas is coming up. It's going to be with us for a while. It's a great piece of work. Check it out. I'm giving it a 10 out of 10, Willy Heads. It's my out of all the movie reviews I've done so far, this is the one I would urge you to go and see. It is a piece of genius. Catch you later, Willy Heads. Bye bye for now.